Hey friends, so today I'm taking a tour on a lobster boat. It's the Scenic Bay of Fundy Lobster Boat Tours presented by Tamara and Kyle. So let's go. Well friends, yesterday I took a lobster boat tour. Now, what's a lobster boat tour? Well, technically, if you really just wanted to define it down to those words, it would be a tour that takes you to some lobster traps, pulls them up, shows you the lobsters, and then you're done. But this is not that. Let's just get that out there. Captain Kyle and Miss Tamara, who run the lobster boat tour at Bay of Fundy Scenic Lobster Tours, they are awesome. They do a really good job. Tamara knows her stuff. Kyle knows his stuff. They both, between the two of them, have 17, 18 years experience fishing lobsters. So yeah, when it's lobster fishing season, they're out working, and then it's off season now, and they have this boat and this tour that they do to keep things going. The boat is the second secret. Tamara was telling me that they had to go through all the regulatory BS and red tape to get the boat approved and certified and fixed up, ready to be, safe to take people out on tours and all that kind of stuff. And she also mentioned too that they've gone above and beyond and are basically more safe than the regulations need. So rest assured, you're in safe hands. The boat's in good shape, and they're very well prepared and responsible to take you on a tour. Now, not just a regular lobster boat tour. First of all, they take you out and they go around to, I think it's out of St. Mary's Bay, and then into an area where you can see Balancing Rock. What is Balancing Rock? Well, Balancing Rock is this big, huge piece of slate, granite, stone, whatever you want to call it. That's literally, it looks like it's just perched on the edge of another piece of stone. You get to see that from the water. Now, this could also be beneficial for people who have limited mobility, because to see Balancing Rock from the land, you have to take the trail in, and at the end of the trail down to the little look-off point is 253 stairs, like steps down, plus you have to come back up. Now, on the tour, you get yourself on the boat and you can see it from the other side. So that was first stop. After that, you head back through the bay and around what's known as Seal Point. Now, seals being animals, who knows, you may or you may not see seals, but we did not see seals there, but we did see seals further on. After that, you go around Boar's Head and the Boar's Head Lighthouse. So you get to see that from the water side, which is pretty cool. Now, you can get to Boar's Head Lighthouse from land. When you get off the ferry, you just basically go right instead of left, and you're pretty much almost instantly at the gate. And if the gate is open, you can drive in and park. And if the gate is closed, it's about, I don't know, half a kilometer in, maybe, to hike in and see the lighthouse. So after they kind of, slow down, let you take pictures of the lighthouse and stuff from the water, they head down the coastline and into Whale Cove. Now, Whale Cove might sound familiar because I'm at Whale Cove Campground, and the cove is just down the road here. So they pull into the cove, and that's where the lobster traps are. So they pull up the lobster traps one by one, and Tamara is very well versed in showing you the differences between the male lobsters and the female lobsters and the sizes that you're allowed to catch and that kind of thing. Now, you might be wondering, if it's off season, are they allowed to actually catch lobsters? And the answer is no. They actually purchase these lobsters, put them in the traps, put the traps in the water. Lobsters are going to be fine in the water, right? That's their natural habitat. But they actually had to go out and buy the lobster in the off season and put them in the traps. So just so you know, Department of Fisheries won't even allow them to catch lobster for demonstration or tour purposes only. It's just strictly, nope, you cannot lobster fish in off season, and that's that. So just a little tidbit of information. Those lobsters have actually been caught and made for sale, and then are now being part of the tour. So after that, you turn around and make your way back home. Now there is a bunch of whale tours in the area, and those are different tours. Obviously, they go out looking for whales in the water, and they communicate with the other tour operators, as far as I understand. And if one of them sees whales, then they radio the other ones and let them know that there's a herd of whales or a certain whale somewhere, and they meet up and everybody gets to see the whales. That said, Tamara did say that they have seen whales, usually off in the distance a little bit. But while we were out, we actually saw porpoises off in the distance. They were breaching and just kind of jumping along, that kind of thing. They're pretty skittish, so you don't get real close to them unless they come to you. And we were also motors running, traveling, so that wasn't going to happen. But off in the distance, we saw something kind of would come up and then go down and come up and go down. And it actually looked like a shark fin. But what it turned out to be was a sunfish. Now these are creepy, ugly fish, I'll tell you. But we got really close, and it was really cool to see the sunfish. And Kyle was saying that they see them quite often. He's seen a few, and this one was actually small. The thing was about, I don't know, can you see my hands here? The thing was probably about that big, wide kind of thing, laying on its side. So it's like this kind of a disc kind of fish laying on its side, and then its fin flips up here and there. And I don't know if it's got two eyes or just a one, but there's like one poking up. It's just kind of a creepy thing. But anyways, it was cool to see. So we saw that, we saw seals, and we saw porpoises, off in the distance. So you never know what you're going to see. But yeah, as far as tours go, why not, right? They have all the information on their website, which is bayoffundylobstertours.com. I'll put that link in the description because it might be a little long to remember. And if you're ever in this area, down on Digby Neck, consider checking it out, because it's a good little tour. You get to see so many things other than just lobster traps and things about lobster. You get to see bouncing rock and the Boar's Head Lighthouse from the water and all these different things. So definitely consider it. Here's a little footage and some stuff that I put together from my tour. There's a little bit of stuff of Tamara. Obviously, I'm not including the whole tour because basically it's a 2.5 hour tour. I'm not including all of the tour in this. There's just a few little clips here and there. And also, proprietary wise, give the world their tour. And if I don't know if they have competition or not, but you know what I mean. So yeah, enjoy a little bit of the Bay of Fundy Scenic Lobster tour, and we'll see you on the other side. Okay.
All right, so my name is Tamara, and I will be your tour guide today. Welcome aboard the Second Secret. We are Bay of Fundy Scenic Lobster Tours. So I'm gonna give you a quick safety briefing. So we have all of our life jackets located above here. We have the youth and adult ones. We have 2 life rings on the boat, one being located here and one being located on the back of the bathroom wall. Up here, we also have a 25-man inflatable life raft. All right, so I'm gonna properly show you how to put on a life jacket. So we do have a bathroom aboard. It's located right here. So if you need to use the washroom, we ask that you put the tissues into the garbage bin provided beside there. We also have a garbage bin located here for any of your garbage. Please do not throw anything overboard. We like to keep it aboard. So what we're gonna do first is we're gonna head over to St. Mary's Bay, where we're gonna go see the famous bouncing rock. And if there's seals at Seals Point, we're gonna hop on over there too. After that, we'll go through Petite Passage and we will go to the Bay of Fundy, where we will then go to Boar's Head Lighthouse. We will stop there, and then we'll go to Whale Cove Harbor, where we'll haul our lobster traps, and you can handle and band a lobster. So we're coming up here on Balancing Rock, and it's about 20 feet high, and it's made of over 20 ton or more of volcanic rock. So if you want to hike Balancing Rock, you have to go, as soon as you cross the ferry, you take a left, and you, about 5 minutes down the road to your left, you'll see lots of signage, and that's the pathway to Balancing Rock. So the hike's probably about a 20-30 minute walk in, so probably about an hour altogether. And there's over 230 steps, so towards the end there, and you'll see that as we're coming up. So if you want to hike it, it is quite a hike, but if coming this way, you don't have to hike, and you get to see it from a water angle. It's a very popular tourist attraction here on Long Island. So that is the famous Balancing Rock. So back in the day, lobster fishermen tied rope around the rock, and they had their boats, and what they used to try to do is they actually tried to knock it down, right? They tried to bring it out with their boats, and obviously they didn't succeed because the rock is still here today. So it's been standing, and actually if you look under it there too, you can see some light, so it's definitely balancing. So this is the famous Balancing Rock that everyone talks about. If you look over here, it's about high tide right now, but that is Seal Point over there. And if you actually want to hike down there, you can go, so when you get across the ferry, you'll go up the hill and you'll see the meadow. And you go to the right there and you just follow the road straight down, you'll see a gate. And you can park at the gate. There should be a sign that says Hikers Welcome. So you can walk right to this house here. And at the side of this house, there's a trail that goes all the way down there, and they don't mind people hiking it. So you can go all the way down there, and you can see the seal's really close and up personal. So that's a kind of a local hiking trail, but anyone is welcome to do it. But at low tide, there's always usually seals there. Always keep a lookout on the water. You never know what we'll see. Sometimes we see porpoises, sometimes we see lots of birds. We've also seen a whale here and there. And you just never know what you'll see on the water. So if you see anything, feel free to shout, and we'll definitely stop and check it out. That rhymed. To the Bay of Fundy, where we're going to stop at Boar's Head Lighthouse, and then we're going to make our last stop to Whale Cove Harbor, where we're going to haul our lobster traps. So lobster, the females are known to lay up to 100,000 eggs, but they have to be, that's a lot of eggs, right? So they actually have to be very big for that. Usually typically a small lobster, around a pound, pound and a half, only lay anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000 eggs. So it really depends on the size of the lobster, but they can hold a lot of eggs there. So the lobster reproduce in the summertime. That's mostly when they do their mating, but they actually hold the babies, the eggs, up to 9 to 12 months. So that's quite a long time. And they usually hatch around June to September. So this here, this is what is stage 2, when the lobsters hatch from the eggs. And this was actually bottled off of George Bank in 1989. And so this is what a lobster looks like after it has been hatched from the eggs. And so you can see they're kind of transparent there, right? And so what happens is at this stage, they mostly float on top of the water, and the currents and tides are mostly what they used for movement, so they get pushed around, but where they're transparent, they actually protects them from predators. So they just live until they get a little bigger on top of the surface, and then as they get into the other stages, they'll hide in rocks and crevices and they'll grow. So their growing process actually is what they do is they molt. And so what this means is they get rid of their shell, and they are very, very soft. So then they'll slowly grow another shell, right? So this is part of their molting process, and this is how they grow. All right, so this is Boar's Head Lighthouse, and this is a heritage lighthouse. So this lighthouse is aided in navigation along the Nova Scotia coast and was built in 1864. But that actually did not stop two wrecks that were exactly a year apart, which was in March 16th of 1911 and 1912. But the lighthouse was then replaced in 1957. But today it still aids for the Bay of Fundy lobster fishermen, and also for any ships that come by. It's vital to shipping, and it's actually the shortest route from St. John, New Brunswick to Yarmouth. So you'll see a lot of ships come through here, right? So it stands at 33 feet tall, and the light on top shines 12 nautical miles, flashing every 12 seconds. If you want to get to the trail, as soon as you come off the ferry, you take a right, and you can actually park in the Tiverton parking lot. And you can walk up the hill there, and you'll see a gate. And it's probably about a 15-minute walk to the lighthouse, and you can go right up to it and see the views from that way as well. Right back there.
Where? Right up there? Oh, yeah. There they are.
Sunfish.
Oh, a sunfish. One sec, let's go see it. Yeah, it's a sunfish. What we're coming up on too. So yeah, here we have a sunfish. They spook easy as well. A lot of people mistake them for sharks because their fin sticks up when they swim, but they're a flat fish. You'll see it steam by here. That's cool.
They are ugly. People mistake them for sharks all the time.
Yeah.
Nice little sunfish.
Mm-hmm.
That's a small one.
That is a small one. They get pretty big. So you can see our buoys in the water over there. We have orange buoys. This is right here is called a gaff. This is what we use to gaff the buoys out of the water, which you'll see. And you can see where the buoy lays there. That's a good indication that the buoy's being strung that way, so you want to haul it that way. So we got our buoy in. Sometimes there's a strain on the rope, and a lot of fishermen sometimes will have to give it a really haul. Totally depends on the tide, if it's high or low. If it's low tide, you probably won't have to haul as hard. All right, so we have our first trap here. So this is what we call an American trap. So the escape patches are located here, and those are the biodegradable haul grains. So after so long of these being on bottom, if they're not being fished and they're lost, these will come right out, and then they'll let lobster out to justify ghost fishing. So here we have the lobster trap itself. This is where we put the bait on, right on the spike. So, and actually seals are pretty bad for getting our bait there. Sometimes they'll rip the spike right out. So they'll follow you in the fishing boat. And as soon as you put your trap in the water, sometimes they'll stick their heads right in there and they'll just rip the bait and your spike out sometimes. So we have 2 lobster here. And one is a female and one is a male.
Okay, other way, yep.
Yeah, and twist.
Twist.
Yeah, and oh, almost, a little more. There, let go. Perfect. Perfect. So this is the crusher claw and this is the pincher claw. So they use this claw for crushing things, and like for say a crab, they'll take their head and they'll crush it, and then they'll use this claw for tearing and shredding up the softer stuff, right? So this is a female lobster here. She has very fluffy appendages here. So you can tell right here how soft and frail they are right there compared to the male here. This is the male here. You can tell that he has very dominant, hard ones here. So see, you can tell the difference there. You got the hard ones here and the very soft ones there. So that's how we determine whether it's female or male. Coming out this season with me?
What?
Coming out this season with me?
Oh, yeah.
You're hired.
Look, you're doing great. Look at that.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Good job.
All right, coming up on our next buoy. All right, we have our second trap here. So another thing about lobster is they can live up and over to 100 years. If they survive that long, they will live that long. So this is a female here. And lobsters can, they're known to grow up to 60 centimeters in length, and there's been reported up to a lobster being 40 pounds. In my fishing experience, I've only seen about a 14, 15 pounder, but that's huge. The lobster claws are like that big, right, on these lobsters, like yes. But little tip for eating lobster, the smaller ones are the sweeter ones. The bigger they get, the rubbery they get. So I always recommend the smaller lobster. All right, so we're gonna push this trap. One thing about lobster fishing is you gotta look at your captain a lot, because he'll give you the nod to set off the trap. The nod, and my captain, he gives it the littlest nod, he'll just be like that. You just barely see it, so you gotta really watch, right? So they give you the okay to set, and they'll set where they think is appropriate, and hopefully there's some lobster there. One important thing about lobster fishing is always keep your feet out of the rope and your hands. And you see here too, is he actually has to watch and make sure the rope has sank, because a common mistake is getting rope in your reel after you set a trap. So, and then you'd have to go in or get a diver to untangle it. So this here is called the block, and this is called the hauler.
I run it all in here. I got a handle right here.
All right, we have 2 more lobsters in this trap. And yeah, this is an older style trap. This is a Canadian trap actually. And you'll notice the heads are in the middle compared to being in the sides. Something about their proteins, eh?
Pardon?
When they turn blue?
Yeah, it's different proteins.
Yeah, different proteins.
In their shells.
Yeah, sometimes lobster can be of all sorts of colors. Sometimes they'll come up spotted. They can even have, yeah.
Spotted like a Dalmatian.
Yeah, a little bit there. But sometimes they'll even come out with a deformed claw too, right? They might have 2 crushers, or they might have 2 pinchers, or they might have a claw coming out of a claw. Yeah, but non-functional most of the times. We've actually seen some crazy stuff out there. But yeah, they can range from different colors and varieties. So with the lobster, this is what we use for measuring lobster. So this is what we put the band on, and we stretch the band over the claw, which I'll show you right quick. So you have the band, you stretch it out, you put it on the claw, you twist and let go. And that's how we band lobster. So how we measure these is the legal size of a lobster has to be at least 82.5 millimeters. So what we do is we put this into the eye socket there, and we parallel down to the back, we measure down, and that's obviously very much so a keeper. So if it wasn't a keeper, this would actually come down right on the back there, right? And so that would not be a keeper, you would have to throw it out. So it doesn't hurt them when we put in their eye sockets, they just move their eyes a little bit. But you just do it parallel to there, and that's how we measure our lobster. And when we're also measuring our lobster, you want to check if it's a female or male, and make sure there's not a V-notch on that tail.
And the V-notch is what again?
So the V-notch means it's a reproducing female, and to throw it back out.
Is that put in by you guys, or is it?
Yeah, so everyone is legally required to have a V-notch or a board. Okay. So it's just a little tool, and what they do is it makes a little triangle in this tail, and that means it was a female that they found with eggs, and it just means it's a reproducing lobster. That's another method to our conservation that DFO puts in place, right? So yeah, if you see that V-notch, this is definitely a big find as well, right, if you have that. So yeah. Lobster are also nocturnal creatures.
Let her go right here. You want?
Right here? All right.
Wanted to say thank you for the tour and the trip.
Oh, no
That was
problem.
awesome.
Yeah, no,
Thank
great.
you so much for
Thanks
coming
for
out with
coming,
us.
yeah.
It's been great. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Got to see a few things. So yeah.
Learned a bunch.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I'll be watching all the video and listening to everything that you're saying, going, "Oh, I didn't know that."
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like listening, but
yeah.
I'm concentrating
That's
too.
right.
So
Yeah, exactly.
some things
yeah.
get by me.
So at least you have that to go back on too.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Thank you for coming
Yeah,
out. I
thank you.
appreciate it.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was great.
thank
It
you.
was great. Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
I'm a subscriber on your YouTube too.
Oh, are you?
Yeah,
I'll
we
be
both
watching.
subscribe
Oh, cool.
to you. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, that's the day I had on the boat. It was a great day. We even got a little bit of fog on the way back around Boar's Head, so that kind of made things a little moody, a little different. And yeah, when you're done the tour, you're probably parked in the parking lot, which is right after the ferry. You turn right, but as you're turning right, you will notice that there is a little restaurant called Just Above Water. And that is actually Tina, who owns this campground. That's her other business. And they make great fish and chips and great snacks and meals and that kind of thing. I had scallops and chips, and they actually threw a piece of fish on for me to try, and it was really good. Any meal you get is going to be enough to fill you up, because you get a lot of fries and, you know, a little thing of coleslaw and your tartar sauce, and it's good to go. They also have a awesome homemade soft serve that you must try, even if you're just waiting for the ferry to come back. Hop out, get yourself one, get back in your truck or whatever, and you're good to go. So that's my video of the Bay of Fundy Scenic Lobster Tours. If you want to see more videos of Nova Scotia coming up, click the subscribe button. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It all helps get me seen by more people. Thanks for watching and take care. We'll see you all soon. Bye.